Yo guys, what's going on, man? More Digimon Survive for you. And in this video I'm going to be talking about affinity, how much affinity you can get, and the affinity system as a whole. Now as you go through the game with your different characters, you will have specific choices, certain things that you need to do in order to attain affinity. Either you attain affinity or you don't get any at all. Now as you see with my affinity as it pertains to my different characters, they're practically on the up and up. Now, depending on certain characters, you need a certain affinity in order for them to survive their first encounter of death. I'm going to use Rio as an example. When you go through the game on your first run, you're going to lose him. But when you beat the game and you have New Game Plus, you will have to have his affinity to at least 30. I've been hearing a lot of numbers being thrown out there. I've tested it myself. As far as with Rio, get it to at least 30. Keep his mental state in the positive side, because in your first playthrough, as you will see, he is like mentally broken. He's distorted, he's in shock, all of that stuff. And as you saw what happened to him on the bridge with Arukenimon and Cyclomon, you see how the events played out for him. He just flat out gave up. I had his affinity at 19. Come to find out, yeah, he's just gonna die. New Game Plus, I wasn't gonna take that chance again, because I believe once you have 19 and you get to that state in which he's about to succumb to the fog, you will end up losing him. Affinity plays a huge role in the game, and when it comes to the amount of affinity that you get, when you make choices and you side with the character, you will notice that they'll have a heart symbol go up. That means their affinity goes up. How much affinity you get, it differentiates between 2 to 8 being the highest. So it will fluctuate. And even if you go late into the story, you could get 5 points up, you could get 6 points up, you could even get 3, you could even get 4. It just fluctuates with that when it comes to the players. When it comes to Suji and affinity, we all know when it comes to him, he's an idiot. He beats up Lobmon for no reason, such and such. When it comes to affinity with him, you already know when it comes to getting it to 30 is the standard. But in order for him to survive, Rio needs to survive, because Rio gets to rescue him, punch him in the face, all that stuff. There that goes. But once you save Suji, you could get his affinity up rather quickly, because he wants to assume leadership, all of that stuff. So as you see, when it comes to my characters and affinity, it's all over the place. But for the most part, you can get everyone's affinity above 70, above 75. All right, and this was the truthful path that I was on. So Minu, she's at 94, Saki was at 81, Rio is at 76, Suji is at 97, Minu is at 88, Ayo is at 81, and Kaito is at 90. Who would have thought that Suji will be my highest character when it comes to affinity, being at 97, considering the fact that some of his questions, he gets a lot of affinity. Rio, he may get probably like 5 or 6 points of affinity, or he could get 2 or 3. Minu was on the up and up. Kaito was on the up and up. Ayo, she's at 81. Minu is at 88. Regardless with him and the main character, when it comes to affinity, they don't die. Okay? So that's what it is when it comes to Minu and the main character. But everybody else, you have to get their affinities up. Talk about Kaido, Ayo, Suji, Rio, Saki, and Minu. Alright? But these two are like the main crux when you're talking about affinity, because these two are the earliest to die in the game. We all know that. So when it comes to affinity in the game, it's extremely important, and it's crucial for our character's mental state, because as you play Digimon Survive, it's all about keeping your mentality and your physical well-being in check. If you're in a weakened mental state, you're not being supportive, all of that stuff, thinking negatively all the time, you already know what's going to happen. You may lead that character to death. So I hope this video helps out you guys as far as with the new players. I hope this video will help you guys out tremendously, because I've seen a lot of numbers like in the low teens going into the 20s. As long as you have your character to at least 30, you're in the clear. If you hit 35, that's a bonus, but at least get them in the 30s. That's like your main focus early on, trying to get as much affinity as you possibly can. And also, as a tip, if you mess up on one of the questions, just load it back up and get the question right, get that affinity up, and continue to move along your way. If you're just playing and all of that, you may end up running the risk of losing that character because their affinity wasn't up to a certain point before they reach that situation in the story that they will die. So keep that in mind when it comes to the affinity. It's real simple. It's real easy to know how the affinity system works in this game, because you can clearly see how much affinity between characters differentiates, and you need to figure out, like, okay, this character, this character, this character, who's important, who's not, such and such. So hope this video helps you guys, and I'll check you out in the next video. All right.